Welcome to The Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for The Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So you received some new technology for Christmas. What are you going to do with that old stuff? We're going to talk about some of the choices you have, maybe to recycle that old smartphone or tablet or what you can do with that. 2014 was a breakout year for the Internet of Things, 3D printing, and other technologies. We're going to go through some of the winners of 2014, and we're going to go through some of the losers. And Miss Metaverse will be joining us later in the program to talk about the losers of 2014.
The turkeys.
That's right. Get some gobble-gobble music going later. Yeah,
get that turkey trot out again.
At the control panel, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh. How you doing?
It's good to be back. I was out last week.
Yes, you were.
I had that bug that was going around, the sinus ear thing.
And, of course, Scott McGowan took your place. Thank you, Mr. McGowan, for hopping in here.
Now, I did do the morning show all week on Cool, but, man, I was out of it. Over the weekend, I think Saturday was the first day I really felt good back from the cold.
Okay, well, good. Glad that you're back. Yeah, and you come back just in time to enjoy the cold weather. Oh, my goodness, it got cold. So
it's not that bad, really. You know, I got a new hat for Christmas.
Nice. So you're trying it out today.
Yeah, I got my new hat.
Good.
People tell me let me grab it here.
Okay. I'm sure everybody is going to be able to, we'll paint a visual. Oh.
And another cabbie hat.
You look like you're from the Greek Isles now.
Well, people tell me I look Irish with it, which is,
okay. Yeah, close to Greek.
Yeah. Same continent.
It's a nice hat, though. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I've got this for me.
Yeah, very nice. So did you get any technology for Christmas?
What I get? A bunch of DVDs.
Okay.
And, of course, we have to get the DVD player fixed because now it won't work.
Wow.
It just won't do anything. It just sits there and, tells me, we're going to start playing in a minute here, and never does. I'm hoping I can just clean out the lens.
I will tell you that if you have to put any amount of time into a DVD player at all, just go get a new one.
That's what I'm thinking.
You can get them for $30 now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't even mess with it.
My birthday is next week. I'll just,
there you go. There you go.
My birthdays. You can give me
and maybe she can get you a nice Blu-ray player on top of it. And I think you can get a Blu-ray DVD combo for $50 or $60 now.
Well, I would love to have access to a Blu-ray player for one reason. There's one movie where the Blu-ray version is out, and it's got some commentary I want to hear.
Oh, sure.
Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
They got the guy. You remember the movie, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you remember the guy who played the sergeant?
Yes.
The real tough guy.
Yep.
He shows up on TV all the time doing commercials
and
whatnot.
Absolutely, yep.
Well, they got him to do some commentary where he talked about working with Stanley Kubrick and everything, and I got to hear that.
Sure. Well, there you go. So for your birthday, Jim's wife, you have an idea now. Get a Blu-ray player, that way you can play your DVDs and throw a CD or two in there occasionally.
Now, what's the deal with the Blu-rays? I mean, is it going to be worth having? Is it going to be an investment that will hold out?
It's like this, Jim. For $50 or $60, I guess I wouldn't worry about it a whole lot. If you went to the movie Full Metal Jacket, if it was out right now, you and your wife went out to that, you would spend $50 or $60 anyway.
That's true.
So why not just have a little nice home entertainment thing and go that route?
Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
By the way, something came up over the weekend. I went out, I was looking for, believe it or not, a cassette player.
Okay.
And I couldn't find one.
Yeah, they're tough to find.
They're tough to find nowadays, aren't they?
Yep. We have a few at the office, but
yeah.
But, good luck with that.
So have they fallen by the wayside now?
Well, if you look hard enough, you can probably find, I think Kobe makes one. And there's another company that's into the retro technology.
Oh, it's retro now.
That they actually, they make the turntables and they even make an 8-track player.
8-track player,
So you can probably find some new ones, but they're not readily available.
Right in the middle of American Pie. Pause, click,
yeah,
pause,
exactly.
Pause.
I used to love that.
Yeah.
You'd be singing along in the car, and then you have to wait for the track to finish.
Any song more than 4 or 5 minutes, there was going to be that pause.
And it always seemed to be where, because I'm sure when they release an album, back in those days, you probably didn't have an idea what song was going to be a hit or not,
Right.
So it always seemed to be, though, that the hits were always on the, where they had to click to the next track.
Oh, yeah.
I used to just like, couldn't you pick one of the bad songs on the album?
One of the Elton John albums was like that. We had it on 8-track.
Okay.
And the two cuts were both that were hits were really long cuts.
Sure.
And they both got chopped up right in the middle.
Yeah, it'd drive you nuts.
Ridiculous.
That's for sure, drive you nuts. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about regifting your technology or what you should do with your old stuff. Because, I was just talking to some people, even this morning, somebody I know that got a brand new iPad, iPhone, whatever. What are you going to do with the old stuff?
Yeah.
So... the first
give it away. Throw. What do you do? Throw it away? Give it away? Or
there's a lot of things you can do, and of course, we talked about regifting. The first thing is regifting. I don't know of a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old that wouldn't love to have an older iPad. So if you have children or maybe some relatives or whatever that have that, and you think that's something that would be worthwhile to do, why not? I mean, you're not using the technology anymore. Let them learn on the technology, and you don't have to worry about them breaking your brand new one because they got their own, So
you got a 6-year-old kid, give him your old cassette player.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell him, here, you turn this on, you can record yourself.
He'll look at you really strange.
Well, I figure 6 years old, you would think at that age they'd be kind of interested in something like that.
On a cassette player, you mean? Or,
yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I guess.
Maybe so, sure.
Maybe they could make a little show. I mean, that's what I did when I got a cassette player when I was 12 years old. I did radio shows.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I guess they would probably play. They'd probably get a kick out of some of the older stuff there. The next thing you can do is find a broker. Gazelle, Nextworth, Usell. Lots of companies out there that you can go to that you can put your tablet on or your phone on or whatever, and they'll pay you a price right away for it. They'll send you an envelope to send it out. And that's probably the easiest way to get rid of them. You can also trade in your old electronics a lot of times for a gift card at Amazon and Best Buy. So those two companies, you can take your old phone or whatever, and they'll give you a gift card for the store. So that's an interesting choice as well.
Sure.
The downside to those, of course, is that you don't normally get what the value of the product is worth.
Well, no.
So the other option you have is to sell it directly.
It's like pawning something, because they're going to resell it.
That's correct. But you don't have any hassles
They're counting
either.
on you being desperate for the dough.
Yep. Or you don't want to hassle with it.
Right.
Here's my phone. I got $25. I'm good to go,
Or here's my TV. I got to pay the rent.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So you can also sell it directly. eBay or Craigslist, of course, is your best choices there. You'll probably get more dough for your device, but you also have to go through all the work of doing it. So donating it is also another great way to maybe do something. We actually participate in the program Cell Phones for Soldiers right here on this show. So if you want to donate your old technology for that and benefits our soldiers that are abroad, you can do that. You can recycle it as well. There are programs like Earth 911, Best Buy, Office Depot, Radio Shack. They all recycle old stuff. And probably the thing that I like to do with my old stuff is repurpose it. I love to figure out ways to make that old technology still work for you. So, for example, you have an Android laying around and you have a business or a business owner.
Right.
Make it a credit card reader for like Square or PayPal or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can do that with it. You can put all your old songs on there, or all your music on there, and keep it at home and send that music to your stereo or whatever.
Your mixtape, whatever.
Absolutely. So, all right, everybody. After the break, we're going to talk a lot about the winners of 2014. So you'll want to stay tuned for that.
Right now, it's 8 below.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank all of our listeners across the country and around the world who listen to us on Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. If it's Tech, it's here. We're on iTunes, tuned in. And, of course, you just heard about our own app, Radio Pup. So if you ever want to get a hold of us, there's all kinds of ways you can listen to us after this broadcast. So a lot of fun, of course, to be had by listening to our reruns.
Yes.
So anyway, we were just talking over the break here and I about some of the articles we've been seeing coming across. And, of course, I complain a lot that we don't have flying cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I graduated from high school a few years back, of course, and I always thought by this time that, especially after watching Back to the Future,
right,
we're approaching that time when Marty McFly and Doc were actually flying around in a car.
Supposed to have those levitating surfboard things.
Yes,
Skateboard, whatever.
So here we are, approaching 2015, and I don't see a flying car in sight,
I don't
Jim.
have mine yet, no.
I'm really complaining about it. But so then you send me this article about stop complaining about that flying car. You have Amazon. So did you read through this?
I glanced at it. I knew it would be right up your alley because I know it talks about Amazon using drones to deliver stuff.
Right. And they don't talk about it a whole lot in here. They just mention a little bit. But yes, but they are talking about if you pay the $2.99 annual fee in a handful of cities, they have same-day delivery of 500,000 items now. So I guess the premise is that you don't have to go out in your flying car to get stuff.
Right.
They'll just fly it to you.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
that's
can
cool.
you imagine how it's going to be, though, when they've got zillions of those things flying around in the air?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they all have to talk to each other. That's the thing.
That's right.
They will they'll have to have a system just like we have for our cars when we're driving down our road right now.
Now, what I'm wondering, will it be a top-down system, or are they going to just talk to each other and do it that way?
I think that they'll have. I actually see in the future, not unlike what we've seen in Back to the Future, where they'll actually have maybe highways in the sky that you have to.
Yeah.
If you're a certain type of vehicle, you have to stay within this parameter, like a highway for this particular level of drone, and you're talking about, if you're a commercial airliner or whatever, that you have, your airspace above
It'll be
that.
like in the Jetsons where they actually have red lights in the middle of the sky, and George has to stop, to let some other thing go by, some plane or whatever, flying whatever.
I'm guessing that we can think a little more three-dimensional and have another lane, 100 feet above that goes east-west, and, whatever, but anyway, that was kind of interesting that you sent me that. I appreciate that. Some of the winners of 2014, we're going to get to that right now. And the first one, we'll get to the losers with Kate. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with Sonos?
Sonos.
Sonos. Okay. It's a speaker that you can put anywhere in your house. It attaches to your wireless, that you have in your house, your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then you can send music to it or whatever from your devices, so your smartphone or whatever. And it just you attach the app to your phone or your tablet, and you push music to Sonos. But what's and that in itself, you're thinking, well, that might not be that's cool. And it's $200 for a speaker.
Sounds kind of redundant. I mean, you already got the music, right, coming out of your speaker.
Right. But you want something, a lot of times you want something that sounds a lot better, than what you got going on. You want to fill the room or, whatever. And it's kind of cool that you can do that. Some good friends of mine have a Sonos system. What's cool about Sonos, though, is that you can add more than one speaker. So, and they talk to each other, just like we were talking about how they talk to, cars will start talking to each other. These speakers talk to each other. So you can create a surround sound with Sonos. You can have Sonos in your kitchen, another one in your living room, another one or a couple in your movie theater, whatever you got going on in your house, and you can send different music to these different areas of your house as well. All within the same system. So it's very cool, and they can be somewhat spendy if you're buying a bunch of them, but at $200 a pop, that's not too terrible.
No.
The Amazon Fire Stick. Now we talk a lot about the Roku on here.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, there's Google Chromecast. Have you seen Chromecast at all?
I know of it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about it.
We have talked a little bit, but not as much about Chromecast as we do about the Roku.
All right.
Chromecast, what that is you it looks like a dongle a USB dongle that you'd plug in, like what I got around my neck right now. Plug in, but it plugs into the HDMI port of your TV.
Okay.
And then syncs to your wireless or Wi-Fi in your house. And if you're using Chrome for your browser on your computer, if you come across like a YouTube video or whatever, you can say, I want to cast that, and it pushes it to the TV.
Okay.
So whatever you see on your computer screen, you can push to your TV. And what's amazing about that is that stick, the Chromecast, only costs $35. $35 to do this. And you can go on, if you have no way, or maybe you don't want to go through the process of getting Netflix on your TV by doing all the other stuff that you have to do. If you have an older TV, you can just plug this thing into your HDMI port and go to your computer and push a movie right to your TV.
Yeah, put the movie on the computer.
Yeah.
And push it to the TV.
Yeah, you just push a little button and just wirelessly it goes.
I like that.
And it's amazingly simple and extremely good quality.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the quality like?
It's as good as what the video is. So if it's in HD and you have the capability for Wi-Fi in your house to push that strong of a signal, then it's HD in your house. So that's what's amazing about it. Over Christmas, I have a TV in the area where we have a large Christmas tree, and I put a fireplace on there from YouTube, because all I have on that is Chromecast going there, and it ran for 8 hours. And I just thought, those are the things you can do with it. It's just very cool.
Well, we had the fireplace channel on Christmas
Oh, okay.
Eve.
There you go.
I was telling my wife I'm still waiting for the director's cut. and the director's commentary, like, well, you see this part here where the fire is crackling. Well, here's what we did technically to achieve the crackling effect.
Absolutely. I threw on some oak here to make that crackle a little bit more.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So the Amazon Fire Stick is similar in design to the Chromecast and the Roku, except that, of course, it has channels. So you don't have to push anything to the Amazon Fire Stick. There's actually channels on there, like the Roku. It runs $39 to $49 for the Fire Stick.
That's not bad at all.
No. So I guess what I'm getting at here is there are options now to watch television with, which is absolutely great. And most of these options run in that $35 or $40 up to $100. And you have hundreds, if not thousands, of channels to choose from now. So.
It's like you were saying with the DVD players. I mean, at the price they're at now, you think of how many ways you'd blow the money otherwise.
Right. And the other thing, by the way, talking about your Blu-ray player, most of them have Wi-Fi built into them, Jim. So you would be able to get Netflix to your TV now through your Blu-ray player.
I like that.
So that's another reason to spend the money on that. So the next one on my list is called the FLIR One. And this
that one also sounds familiar.
It is.
I think
it is familiar.
about that.
FLIR One. It is a case that goes around your iPhone. Okay, so like a case that you would use to protect your phone, but it does one very, very unique thing, and it sees heat. It's a heat sensor.
Okay.
So you want to see if your window has a draft. You actually image your window, and it'll show you the hot or the cold spots, coming through there.
Yeah.
If you want to see if your car has a low tire, you can image your car tires, and it'll show you this. If you want to see if your ceiling is leaking, if your tires need inflating, the thermal heat sensor doubles as your iPhone case, and the app shows you an infrared heat map of your surroundings. It is just the coolest thing, and I can see a lot of uses for this. It runs $300 for the FLIR. So the next one up is the Phantom 2 drone. Of course, my list would not be complete if we didn't talk about drones.
Yeah, we got to have at least one drone.
Got to have
there.
a drone. Yep.
Drone.
It is a runs $1,000 for this drone. Comes equipped with a GoPro, so pretty cool. What's cool about this drone is that you can create a flight plan with your iPad.
Okay.
So you don't actually have to fly it. You see what I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
You can actually program a flight plan to say, I want to go 150 feet out from my house over the river, take some footage, go 200 feet over this way, take some more footage, and then it'll fly back home for you. And you don't have to actually fly the thing.
Yeah.
It'll fly itself because you have created a flight plan for it. I think that's clever.
Now, if I went out and bought one of these tomorrow, would I need a license of any kind for it?
Now, as long as you don't go over 400 feet.
Okay, 400
So
is
as long as you say, and you have to. There are other specifications. You can't go within 5 miles of an airport and those type of things.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I mean, you can go out and fly these things, and I would see.
Stay away from the Air Force Base then.
Yeah, exactly.
You might shoot me
exactly.
down.
So, did you ever play tennis, or do you play tennis? Okay.
Oh, in my college years, I did.
Okay, that was a big. I loved to use.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of tennis too. There's a tennis racket called Babolat. 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 And it looks like a regular tennis racket. In fact, it is a regular tennis racket. But it records everything you do during your game. So if you're, having some issues while you're hitting the ball, if your backhand isn't like what it should be because you're, it'll register all this stuff as you're playing the game. And then it'll tell you how you can improve your game, which I think is kind of clever.
I like to see him do that with like a baseball bat.
Yes. Actually, there's a basketball now that has that,
there
too.
is a basketball.
So I'm going to guess that as we move forward now, there's going to be more and more of this technology that will be out there. The next one I have is Beep, and I know I'm pushing ththrough these pretty quick here. Beep, B-E-P, just like it sounds. This actually hooks up to any speaker that you have. So it doesn't have to be a special speaker at all. You can hook up the Beep to this, and it makes it a wire or a Wi-Fi enabled speaker. So if you have a sound system in your house or whatever, and then you can push the music from your device right to those standard speakers. It's very, very cool. So after the break, everybody, Miss Metaverse will be joining us to talk about the losers of 2014. So come on back.
Right now it's 8 below.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So, Jim, this studio is really, really large, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm, writing some stuff, some notes down in between here. I put my pen down, and I'm like, where did I put my pen? There is no place to go. How is it that I just found it here? But,
okay.
But have you ever been working on something, too, and you're like, put something down like a screwdriver?
Oh, I'm always doing that.
And you're underneath the car or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
where did it go? It's just amazing. But anyway, on the phone, of course, to talk about the biggest losers of 2014, Miss Metaverse. How you doing, Kate?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Marlo?
Doing well, too, except that it's like 10 below zero here right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a lovely day in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So
You better get those robotic snowplows ready.
we should do that. We need to do a demonstration like in January or February with one of those around here, Jim. That would be fun to do, actually.
I just want a robotic flight to Florida right about now.
That can be arranged as well. Yeah. So I task you today with finding some of the biggest losers of 2014. Of course, we're talking about technology. So I actually have a couple here as well, Kate. So you and I will just go back and forth, and we'll discuss a little bit about each of the things that we have come up with. So you get to go first.
All right. So much happened this year with technology. I mean, it's so hard to even start to begin to think about all the things that happened when it comes to technology fails. So I think one of the things I wanted to start with would probably be something that wouldn't be really considered a fail overall, but in my eyes, I do kind of think it was a fail. So, the Apple Watch, right?
Okay.
There's so much speculation about what the Apple Watch is going to be like. And I think when the Apple announcement came in September, we were all kind of hoping that the Apple Watch would have been released in time for the holidays. And even now, when you go on the website, you go on apple.com, you still see that it only says releasing in early 2015. So we still don't really know when the Apple Watch is actually going to be released. And I think that's kind of a fail.
Okay. Because I remember you were pretty excited. In fact, there was a countdown about when the Apple Watch was going to come out, if I remember right.
Right.
And then they keep pushing it back and pushing it back. So, you can't blame a company for wanting to get it right. But they probably should have not made the announcement until it was ready to go. And that is not Apple's usual forte with this stuff. They usually have, it pretty well working and ready to go by the time they make the announcement. So that is interesting that you bring that up.
Definitely. We're all very excited for the Apple Watch to come out. I'm definitely excited for it to come out. But, I was a little bit upset, to find out that there's still no definite date for its release.
Sure.
So it's a good kind of fail. It's us being excited for its release.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So speaking of smartwatches, though, no one really talked about the Galaxy Gear S, which came out in, I think, September or October.
Right.
And the problem with that watch, the Samsung Galaxy Gear S, was that it didn't have any independent connection to the internet or Wi-Fi. So in order for users to actually use it, you had to be nearby your actual phone. Well, that kind of defeats some of the purpose,
And don't you think that most watches are going to be that way? Or are you thinking that as we move forward, they will become independent of phones and have their own functionality?
Well, I think that it is common. There really aren't any smartwatches out yet that have their own independent connection to the web. But the dream that we have is for us to have that kind of Dick Tracy kind of future where we're looking at our smartwatches and we're communicating with each other or having a little Skype call over our or smartwatches. And right now, we just don't have that technology yet.
Okay.
It's just not really here.
Sure.
But I hope it will soon.
So, okay, very good. So my first one on the list is the 3D television.
Yes.
I just think that even when I've been watching this the last couple of years, and I love the 3D experience. Jim, have you ever watched a movie in 3D?
Well, only the old days with the glasses.
Okay, so
House of Wax and
right.
the oldies.
So have you gone to a recent one, like Avatar or any of those?
No, I have not.
Okay. So, the promise was that we would be able to bring these experiences from the theater home.
Right.
But it just hasn't panned out a whole lot. First of all, there just isn't enough 3D material out there to probably warrant the high price of having a 3D TV. And then you got to wear the glasses.
Yeah.
And I think that's the caveat there, is that people just don't want to be home wearing these crazy looking glasses watching movies. I think
Tingler, yeah.
I just think that at this time anyway, the 3D experience is best left in the theater,
right?
And that can be the competitive advantage that a theater has, is having it. But what are your thoughts, Kate?
I completely agree with you. People just didn't really want to wear those glasses, and they didn't want to invest in the 3D technology. And it really was supposed to be really big. I'm surprised it didn't catch on, but then again, it just didn't seem that appealing. I think the price point wasn't that good either. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. And, I think if there was more content, and I think the area that they could really excel in would be sports. If you could broadcast the Super Bowl in 3D and all the other football games during the year, I think you would get that group that would really enjoy that, and then it would expand from there. But the ability to broadcast live sports in 3D is very, very difficult at this time. So I just don't see. But it seems to me, didn't the Super Bowl try to do that last year, actually?
What, 3D?
Yeah, didn't they have a special?
Well, there was one year where they had a 3D. The halftime show was 3D.
Okay,
that might a few years.
You're right. That's exactly what it was. So okay,
right.
Very good. All right, Kate, what's next on your list?
Well, there's a lot of hackings this year, and that was probably one of the biggest fails, I think, of the year, was that there was the iCloud hack, the Sony hack, and then even just recently the Lizard Squad hack that took down PlayStation and Xbox. So I'd begin with the recent Lizard Squad hack. That was pretty amazing. I mean, Christmas came, and we actually ended up gifting a PlayStation to a friend for Christmas, and that morning you couldn't even go online. And in the beginning when this first happened, originally I thought that maybe the servers were overloaded because so many people had maybe received PlayStation 4s or Xboxes.
Sure.
And then the news came out that it was actually this Lizard Squad hacking group that took down all the servers. They took down the servers for 110 million PlayStation 4 users and 84 million Xbox One users. That's insane.
That's amazing, actually. Yes.
I think it got overshadowed by the whole North Korea thing.
I agree.
It definitely did. And that only happened within a couple days.
Yeah.
And then the interview, that was pretty amazing, how it ended up becoming released online. So for those who didn't know, what we're talking about is that there was the interview film, which was supposed to be about a comedy that starred James Franco, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and Seth Rogen.
Yep.
It kind of made fun of the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong. Which one?
Kim Jong-un,
I'm not really sure
the current one. Yeah.
Anyway, so the film, a group in North Korea, a hacking group in North Korea, ended up taking down the film. Well, no, they ended up threatening the movie theaters that were going to premiere the movie, and
right.
I think it was a bomb threat or something, right?
Yep. And then on top of it now, I guess the recent reports that they're actually tracking it back to Russians now as opposed to the North Koreans. So it's interesting how the whole thing played out, because North Koreans were actually somebody in North Korea was making the bomb threats, but yet now they're tracking it back to the Russians actually hacking Sony.
Which is interesting because the Russians are trying to make friends with North Korea. We're trying to make friends with Cuba. They're trying to make friends with North Korea, and then you got this whole thing. It all ties together.
It does all tie together.
It's holistic,
actually.
man.
So
Right. So hacking's definitely been a problem this year. For
they
sure.
have been, and I'm not sure if they're going to get it any better in the future. But I agree with you. I think 2014 was the year of the hack.
The year of the hacker.
So
Man of the year should be a hacker.
there you go. There you go. Next on my list, Kate, is Twitter Music. Did you ever even hear of Twitter Music?
No.
Of course, Conway Twitter.
See, that obviously was a big loser of the year. Twitter
Yeah.
actually tried to come out with a music platform similar to iTunes, and
Didn't work.
it obviously failed miserably because even Kate, Miss Metaverse herself, has no clue what I'm talking about. So,
I have a very vague recollection of it, but
Yeah.
it obviously didn't make any impact on me.
yeah, they attempted it, I believe, in 2013, and I believe just a few months ago they decided to just pull it because it just was not going anywhere at
Yeah.
all. So, all right, next up for yours on your list there, Miss Metaverse.
We're talking about products and gadgets that were pretty much unheard of. That reminds me of the Amazon Fire smartphone. Did you hear about that one? I mean,
Well-
seriously, that kind of came and went really fast.
It's funny you have that because that is literally my next thing on my list here as well. So, but you're absolutely right. I mean, there was a lot of hoopla over the Amazon Fire phone, and now are they not giving them away?
Pretty much. A lot of, I think CNN was joking about that they might as well be just handing them out for free.
Right.
And it was a little bit, speaking of 3D technology, too, they were saying that the Amazon Fire smartphone was supposed to feature some kind of 3D display that didn't really seem so 3D, apparently. So
Right.
maybe that's why it didn't catch on so much. I'm not really sure.
I am sure that it is an amazing phone, but it just, like you said, just didn't seem to catch on. So,
I think what it was, too, the Firefly features are already found in the Amazon app. So I guess the fact that you can get most of the features through the app without having to actually buy the
Right.
specific phone,
right.
that probably has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. So Jim has just shot me a note over here too about the Nook. There's the Nook, and what's the other one?
Kindle. The two
yes.
big ones are Kindle
Yes,
and Nook.
yes. So
I have both. I actually have both right now because my wife gave me the Nook for Christmas last year.
Okay. So are you thinking that the Nook is kind of a loser over the year,
Well,
Jim?
I'm wondering if the Nook is going to be like to Betamax what Kindle would be to VHS.
I gotcha. So in your world, Kate, do you have more Kindle users or Nook users?
I think that both are kind of phasing out, and you'll find that they're so cheap already because when I was looking at deals on Amazon for Cyber Monday, literally the deals for the Nook were so cheap. I think I saw one for maybe $40
Wow.
on Amazon, which was shocking. I mean,
I guess
like you're saying.
that might just tell you exactly right there what's going on with that market. So, all right, everybody, after the break, all three of us will continue our talk on the biggest of 2014.
Right now, it's 6 below.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And here we are at the last segment of the Tech Ranch for 2014, and we're talking about losers. In
Don't look at
studio,
me when you say that.
Well, I'm sorry, Jim. Yeah, in studio, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh. On the phone, Miss Metaverse, and we have some other picks that we think are the biggest losers of the year. We could make a TV show of that, I think. Oh, wait. I guess somebody's already done that. Oh, wait. You like that? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
The weight as in the pun. It's taken Jim a while to... Isn't the biggest loser about losing weight?
Oh, wait.
Yes. There you go.
Yep.
Took Jim a while to figure that out.
Yeah,
there,
just
so.
keep pounding it away.
That's right. That's
Get it
right.
pound.
So anyway, boy, we're full of puns today.
A little something.
Anyway, yes, Kate, I think you're next with your next pick of one of the losers of 2014.
All right, so back in February, this seems like a really long time ago, even though it's just about less than a year ago. Bitcoin. Do you remember what happened with when the cyber attackers ended up hacking into Bitcoin?
Vaguely.
And, well, what happened was mt.gox. I don't know how you pronounce that. but it's the world's largest Bitcoin exchange.
Right.
And cyber attackers ended up creating a glitch on the platform, which ended up causing a loss of 850,000 Bitcoins, which comes out to nearly $473 million.
Unreal. So it was almost like a robbery of sorts.
It is. It's like a cyber bank robbery, probably the biggest cyber bank robbery that ever happened. And it was the way it happened was they created this bug that made it seem like these Bitcoin transactions weren't happening, but what it really was happening. So it was completely underneath the radar. And these cyber attackers were just taking in all this money, like a cyber bank robbery, basically, and it completely went past them. They didn't even notice it until finally the news got out. And it's pretty incredible, actually.
And of course, one of the advantages or disadvantages, as you look at it, is that Bitcoin is anonymous. So there's no tracking. I would imagine after you have a Bitcoin in your possession, you can use it wherever you need to. So that's what's good and bad about Bitcoin, I guess.
Definitely. I mean, in January, before this happened, the price of the Bitcoin was around the 850s, and then they said that the Bitcoin price has fallen to 560 after this happened. But overall, it survived, and Bitcoin is still around, and we look forward to seeing what happens next year.
Yep, absolutely. So next on my list is, we're not talking so much about gadgets anymore, but other failures here for the year. But Facebook, and maybe you'd seen this too. They had announced, or they had a feature that streamed video to your smart devices, and it's you might not think that's a big deal, but video takes a lot of bandwidth. Yeah. So what was happening is people who were avid Facebook users on their devices were getting just slaughtered when it came to paying their phone bills the next month because they go way over their data limit, and they were getting charged these huge.
I mean, that happens
fines.
anyway because it uses up Facebook as it is uses up so much space.
Right. But if you start streaming video on top of that, you'll go right over your thing. So I think Facebook has backed off of that feature now, simply because they had so many complaints about that, and I'm not even sure if Facebook made any payments to these people who complained about it or not, but. And that's just something you have to be careful about. If you're on a device, in general, you start streaming video, you're just going to eat up your bandwidth. And we talk about that all the time on this show anyway. You have to be careful about that. So next on your list, Kate.
Yes. Well, it's funny that you say that, Marlo, because I've been maxing out my data, and I'm on Facebook a decent amount. And I noticed that ever since that happened, I started getting notifications that I was maxing out my data usage for the month pretty quickly.
Well, there you go.
And that's definitely why. And for everyone listening, what you could do is you have to go into your settings and you have to switch it to either Wi-Fi or you could turn it off. And it's a simple fix, and that will actually save you from eating up your data.
Right. But a lot of people, until you just said that, didn't even know that feature existed, that you could turn it off.
That's why I use Wi-Fi wherever possible.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's in the autoplay settings, so that's where you have to look for it.
I'm going to write that down right now. Autoplay. Okay.
So another technology-related kind of fail would be the social media website, LO.co. It never really took off, and LO.co was supposed to be the answer to Facebook because there was so much worry about the privacy concerns and people selling your data and your information to these third-party companies when you use Facebook, right? So this group, actually, I forget who he is exactly behind LO.co, but the actual social media website, it launched earlier this year. But the problem was that it was invite only, and people were forced to buy their invitations to get into this website.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the time people started getting their invitations, they didn't really care about it anymore, even though it seems like people are more willing to sacrifice the possibility of, okay, a marketing company might take my, information from Facebook and whatever, but we want to be connected. We don't want to have to move and join more websites. Right. A lot of us are comfortable where we are on Facebook,
Well, and I know you and I talked about LO a couple months ago, and you actually sent me an invite, and I went through the process of signing up and am in LO, But I agree with you. I just don't want to go through the hassle of having another website that I have to go to. And it's such a hassle. They didn't make entry easy for the person who wants to use it. And sometimes, like if you're going out clubbing or something like that, having, if it's difficult to get into a nightclub or whatever, sometimes that appeals to people. But I think that the exact opposite is true when you're trying to get into a social network type of situation.
I'm still getting notices from High Five.
High Five.
High Five, remember that one?
Wow.
They're still around, Jim.
Apparently so.
Wow.
I keep getting email from them telling me about all the activity of which I have none.
Wow. And how's your Friendster account doing?
Wow, that takes you back a couple of years there. Friendster.
Many moons ago.
Yes. So next on my list is Google Glass, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. I hate to even put it on the list. And I'm hoping that they'll come out of, what they're in right now. I actually, this is interesting. I actually posted on my Twitter account 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I wrote about this, the demise of Google Glass. And Google actually wrote back to me. And they said, no, that's not the case. We're actually moving to a second generation. And I was like, well, it'd be great to have you on the show so we can talk to you about this. And they declined to do that. But it's interesting.
As long as you can say, we offered offered them the airtime.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the status is with Google Glass, but the reason I'm stating this, I guess, is that there are so many companies that are halting the creation of apps and that type of thing to work with Google Glass, and that's why I'm putting that on my list for the year.
I definitely agree with you. I think that there is a lot of hope and a lot of hype about Google Glass, and a lot of us couldn't wait to buy it. But again, the price point wasn't very accommodating for most of the public to buy Google Glass. It was $1,500 to purchase Google Glass, and I think that's a lot.
It is, especially when there are other companies that are coming out with stuff that's under $300 now.
Yeah.
It's difficult to justify that $1,500.
Oh, yeah.
So the good thing about Google Glass is it did start people thinking about the possibilities of this technology, and I do see other companies excelling in it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially, I'm sure there'll be some announcements next week at CES or whatever. So
yeah.
So
definitely. I think that I have faith in Google Glass. I think it's going to come back, and whatever the second generation is going to be, I think it's going to be the one. I have faith in it.
Absolutely. And Google usually, they're not big about charging a premium price for stuff. I mean, all you have to do is look at their Chromebooks and that type of thing to see that. So I expect that price tag will come down as well. So next on your list, Kate.
Yes. I know we're running out of time here, but Uber.
Oh,
wow.
Yes.
Uber went through a heck of a year this year. This is amazing. I mean, there was Ubergate earlier this year, and people were talking about that Uber is supposed to be giving background checks to their drivers. Now, for people who don't know what Uber is, it's an app that allows you to hire a private car or like a cab in cities like New York City and Los Angeles, et cetera. So Uber has a competitor called Lyft. And the two kind of been going back with each other. But Uber's been doing a lot of, let's say, naughty things that have been getting a lot of attention to the press.
Sure.
And particularly Uber's CEO, Travis Kalanick, has been getting kind of a reputation for being a little bit of a misogynist, actually. And this has caused a lot of people to start deleting their Uber apps. Actually, basically, he made a couple weird comments that got picked up, and besides that, they also said that Uber was caught sabotaging Lyft, its rival, by ordering and canceling nearly 6,000 rides this year.
Unreal. So, yeah, the world of corporate, whatever you want to call it,
guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. So. All right, everybody. Really appreciate you being on the final edition of the Tech Ranch for 2014. Next week, we will be live.
Yeah, baby.
From Las Vegas. So
you'll be in Vegas.
I'll be in Vegas. That's right. So should be a lot of fun, everybody. And make sure you join us because we're going to have a great time bringing you all kinds of updates. I think we're doing daily updates with you, Jim, as well.
Yes.
So you want to take advantage of that and listen to the show.
And we'll have you on Cool as well, 98.7.
Yes, cool. And Kate, thanks again. Thanks for the great year to 2014.
Thanks, Marlo.
All right, and Happy New Year, everybody.